All right, it's starting.
Good Wednesday evening again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Tailgate Talk Nebraska. With us, as always, you've got Brian Denton. He is out in I was going to say great state. He's in Colorado.
Yeah, come on now.
Up in Lincoln because he thought his wedding was more important than being here with us.
I know.
Braden Cook with us via Zoom.
Hoes before bros, man.
Yeah, I know. But
One time it happens.
Old school, right here in the house. And ladies and gentlemen, week one of the college football season done, over with. We've actually had some teams who have played 2 games already this year. And what kicks off tomorrow night? The defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles will take on. Is it a call? No, they're pro. Dallas Cowboys tomorrow night.
Okay.
In the
Now they lost Micah.
Michael.
Whatever. Their best player.
Well, we're going to kick things off tonight. We're going to recap a little bit of what happened last week in week one, officially, of the college football season. And let's get started. Let's go back to Kansas City. Last Thursday evening, the Bearcats of Cincinnati hosting, I say that with quotations.
Oh, they were a great host.
It was their home game.
It was, and they got a great venue close to home.
Yeah.
We got to go down there and party,
Yeah.
and it was a great game.
Yeah.
They played well. They got nothing to shame themselves for.
No.
I hope they're better than we think they are.
That's one thing about it. Guys, what were your takeaways of the Nebraska-Cincinnati game last Thursday in Kansas City, MO?
I was impressed. I obviously, like Jeff, hope for better, but then again, it's week one. There's so much crazy stuff happened in week one that a win's a win, and you got to take it and go. There's a lot of things that got to get better, but we have 2 weeks of opponents we can try a lot of stuff out with and get ready for Michigan pretty much. I don't want to overstep the 2 games, but I was still impressed. I think there's a lot of potential, and I'm not scared whatsoever. I think we're still going to have a good season. The boys just had to play, and they found a way to win. So you can't ask for much more.
And and talking about finding a way to win, I mean, there's a lot of firsts that happened. We had beat a Power 4 team or a Power 5 team since 2003 in a season opener. We've lost conference games over and over again in that season opener.
Mm-hmm.
And close games. I mean, that's been the
MO.
The MO.
Yeah.
We lose those.
A way to win a one possession
we
game
win
is
a
always a
close
win in
game.
Nebraska's book.
Not only did we win a close game, we did it with style in a matter of speaking. We didn't fold.
No. Now, here's my takeaway from the game. I saw some really good things out of Nebraska. Emmett Johnson being one of those. I thought Emmett Johnson looked pretty good running the ball. I think Dylan, when he had time, as we talked last week, when Dylan had time in the pocket, his receivers were open. He was hitting them. Dane Key looked pretty solid last week as a receiver.
And Hunter seems to catch anything that touches his hands.
Yep. And the tight end,
Luke Lindenmeyer.
Lindenberg.
That guy.
Luke Lindenmeyer.
Lindenmeyer, that's right. Yeah. He impressed me last week with some of his catches and runs after the catch, in fact. But on the other hand, I
wish we would have punched that one in from the one.
Well, that false start penalty is what killed us.
So 5 yards should take you away from it. If you're first to go from the 5, you still expect to punch it in.
You should, yes. But how about the 50-some-yard field goal from our kicker?
You gotta love that.
And our punter looked good.
The punter dropped 2 inside the 10.
I think there were some good things to take away from that game. The only thing
I think it was Holgerson that said it. The special teams have been bad for so long that we want to do what we're supposed to do. Right now. We don't have to do anything special.
Yep.
Just do what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
Drop kicks inside the 10. Don't, we had the one that went out of bounds, the kickoff, but, for the most part, our special teams were solid.
Yep. But the defensive line was a concern, I feel. I feel like Cincinnati ran the ball. They only threw the ball. They didn't hardly throw the ball at all because, A, I don't feel Cincinnati's receivers were very good. B, That quarterback is dangerous running, and their running back was really strong that night, I felt. And the offensive and defensive line play, I would give it a push. The skill position play, linebacker, safe, or defensive backs, and running backs and quarterbacks, I give the edge to Nebraska in that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the only with Jeff, I think that they did what they needed to do to win, which is in a one score game, what Nebraska struggled with. So it was good to see that out of Nebraska that they could pull away a close win like that. I'm with you though, Derek. I think there's some holes that they got to fill.
Yeah.
And I think if you run into a quarterback that's a dual threat quarterback, Nebraska's going to have trouble. Um, Cincinnati's quarterback looked pretty good against them, and honestly, if he would have thrown that ball better at the end, it might have been a different story. But he didn't make a very good throw. The defensive player made a great catch. Don't get me wrong. That
Armstrong,
he,
great interception.
yeah, yeah, that was a awesome interception. But I'm still hanging on to a 4-loss team. I still think they're a 4-loss team after seeing the first game.
In week one, though, you look at any college team that played last weekend, whether they won, whether they lost, anything, you saw holes on all of them. You saw holes on everybody.
No, yeah, yeah.
Everybody, Brian,
I see it.
you're getting the hater sign. But every team, and it doesn't matter if they won 64-0 or they won 3-0. You see holes in all teams, and that's what they work for. They work for to get better for the playoffs at the end of the year. That's what you're playing for. You get there, and you want to be prime there. You don't want to be prime now and then tail off at the end. You got to fill those. You got to know what your weaknesses are, and you got to work on them. And that's what the Rule and his coaching staff are going to do this week.
But it was a huge step.
Warm up games.
You get Akron this week.
It was a huge step.
Akron, they lost 10-0 to Wyoming last week. Defensive struggle. Nebraska should roll up on them.
Yeah.
These are two games where I was watching a press conference with Matt, hoping that our backup running backs would play more, but Dana stepped in and goes, "Hey, Emmett's hot. We're not taking him out." And that's when Matt was like, "I let my coordinators coach and I let him make those calls. So we're rolling with Emmett." So these two games would be good because another part of our weakness I thought was our backup running backs. They didn't look that great, but then again, we haven't seen them at their full potential yet. We have two games where they should be able to play a lot and get a lot of reps to be able to get ready for these Michigan and Penn State and all these bigger opponents. So hopefully these 2 weeks are really good for us. And I'm excited that we have these two games to be able to try anything that we can out, especially get those guys that are going to have to play big for us down the stretch to get them a lot more reps than we saw in week one.
And we get tape on them. Michigan plays Oklahoma this week. We get to see what we're facing.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look now, and let's go to the state of Ohio as we move away from Missouri into Ohio. A lot of people are calling it the big one. Texas, Ohio State, number 1 versus number 3. Brand new quarterbacks basically starting for each team, and defense ruled that game. You had the Buckeyes coming out with a 14-7 win. Jeff's got his sign ready. I'll say the name, Arch Manning. There we go. And it as we talked about before, though, that game will not determine whether either one of those two teams make it into the playoffs later on down the road. There's a lot of football between now and then.
Absolutely.
So
the SEC's coming. They got to fight the SEC battles, and kind of like the hater over there said, when you look at Texas after that, thinking about the SEC, you're looking at a 3-loss team probably at the end of the season, maybe a 4-loss team, considering that they lost to Ohio State already.
Yeah.
Ohio State, on the other hand, despite the win, they jumped into first place in the AP poll. But I mean, Brian, did that not give you more hope by watching that?
I'm still not sold on Ohio State.
That's what I mean. Give you more hope that Oregon can make a run.
Yeah, I honestly am not impressed with Ohio State. I'm just not impressed with Ryan Day. I think that it depends on what kind of a mood he's in, on what his team's going to do. As we saw last year, everybody thought he was going to be out the door until they made a run to the national championship.
Yeah.
I think Arch Manning is going to get better. He didn't play
It can't
well,
get
but
much worse.
well, his first game was on the road at Ohio State.
Yeah, he
As a
put stuff into the dirt. He missed wide open wide receivers by a mile.
Yeah, I think the hype and the expectation got to be too much, and we saw a little bit of a human from him, but I don't think that he's going to go down from here. I honestly think Texas is still the favorite in the SEC.
And you have to go back. You have to go back to what Derek says too. Is like every team's going to
That's the
have holes, and
bullshit now.
this is week
Bullshit
one.
now.
Well,
This is week one, and if you played this game at the end of the year, it's a shootout. We're talking about a 35-28 or plus more game to look at. But you have to, like Derek said earlier, it's week one. It's two starting quarterbacks that have yet to play full seasons, and I mean they're still contenders to win it all. Both of them are. And
but here's the thing: saying the quarterback for Ohio State that took over for Will Howard this year, that one touchdown they had, and here's the thing, was basically he better went out and bought his receiver something really nice because that ball was underthrown. The ball got knocked out of the receiver's hands, but he had the ability to still reach back and grab it as he's getting yanked down and just made an athletic play on that one. And, Ohio State has had great receivers the last few years. It showed they've got a few more. And that wasn't even Jeremiah Smith that made that play.
No.
But, I'm not saying Sam looked like a quarterback that could take his team to the CFP right now and win the whole thing either.
No, we're gonna have to see more
Yeah.
to know what we got here.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the number 1 and number 4 defense last year. Both of them returned most of them. So, I mean, I guess you should have expected a defensive fight
Early in the year.
early in the year.
Yeah.
Because defense is usually in front of the offenses.
Yep.
But
Well,
let's talk about some of the ones that did impress you, like Florida State.
We're getting there.
Are we? Well, let's hurry up and get to a good game. No one wants to hear about Texas. They lost. It's what's supposed to happen.
Jesus.
You talk.
Okay.
All right. Well, now we're going to move down to the state of South Carolina.
Now we know our
South
roles.
Carolina, LSU, going into Death Valley to take on Cade Klubnik and the Clemson Tigers. And for a while, it looked like Clemson was going to take control of this game, and LSU came back and stood up for the SEC on a weekend where they didn't have many people stepping up for them.
Man, Clemson lost me money. Yeah.
I still think Clemson's probably the favorite in the ACC. I'm not sold on Miami beating Notre.
Like a wet paper bag.
Well, I'm not sold on Miami. Are you sold on Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Did you
Yeah.
see
Not a
that
chance.
catch? Oh my God, was that cool? I mean, he went
Yeah,
out there
that
and
was-
said, "Oh, that's my ball. I know it's past me. I'm just gonna take that and get a touchdown."
But when it boils down to it, LSU played a really outstanding game on the road
no,
in a tough
LSU
environment.
played 1 quarter.
Mhm.
Outstanding 1 quarter. The rest of the time, they were losing ground, and Clemson was pushing them around. I mean, they looked horrible the first half. Even in the third quarter, they were getting pushed around.
They responded though.
I disagree.
They responded and won the game. If you think that Nebraska winning the game against Cincinnati is a good thing by a 1-score game, LSU pulling that game out on the road in a tough environment
Nebraska
says a lot.
outlasted Cincinnati. They were at the lead, and they were held on to it. And there was points where we could have lost it. LSU, on the other hand, was falling behind, and Clemson choked. That's why they won that game. Hey,
I'm not
easy.
saying I'm sold on LSU.
Let's
That's not
not
what
let's
I'm
not
saying.
give LSU extra credit.
I'm not.
Let's put it where it belongs. Clemson played horribly that fourth quarter. I mean, they
Yeah,
threw a pick, they fumbled the punt. There's just it was one mistake after another, and it just snowballed on them.
I I'm not saying that I'm putting LSU as a favorite in the SEC. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying they did what they needed to do to win.
They
So
did.
that's all I'm saying.
LSU did not play to win the game the first three quarters of that football game.
No.
In the fourth, they were like, okay, we better pick up the pace here because every other SEC team's losing today in the big games. We don't want to, make that happen.
But at the end of the day, the SEC ended up fine.
The SEC won some games, but they were games that they better win. Okay, the big games.
Alabama and Texas are the only two that really lost.
Yeah. I thought Ole Miss or Mississippi State.
I think both of them pulled those out. South Carolina won their game. LSU
South
won
Carolina
a
looked good.
one-liner.
South
What?
Carolina looked really good.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. I watched most of that game on replay on the SEC network where they take out all the
Commercials.
in between stuff and put it in an hour. Um, but
That
and they
that
did. It was
quarterback
good.
for that quarterback for South Carolina is good.
And they got solid defense.
Yeah.
They're going to make some noise. And Alabama better watch out. Vanderbilt looks good again.
Well, they get them in Tuscaloosa this year, so that's one good thing. But let's move on now, and let's go to Tallahassee, Florida. The Seminoles, 2 years ago, left out of the playoffs with an undefeated season. Last year went in the tank. What do? They come out in 25 and not only beat Alabama,
They handled them.
they just manhandled. Their quarterback only threw like 14 or 15 passes a whole game. They had over 250 yards, or right around 250 yards rushing in that game. Alabama just could not keep up, and I don't think Florida State is that good of a team, but they manhandled Alabama.
When they got that when Alabama got that touchdown called back because of the flag, and they panned over and showed Nick Saban sitting there just. I mean, he was watching the house he built.
Yeah.
And
I honestly think
say.
I think it says more for Alabama's demise than it does Florida State's improvement. I honestly
This goes again. We will see how good Florida State is going forward and how bad Alabama is going forward. Because I agree with you. I think it has more to do with Alabama not what they're supposed to be. DeBoer is going to be lucky to get out of this year.
Yeah.
If he
I was just about to say, DeBoer is on the freaking hot seat. I don't care how early it is. He is on the hot
seat. If they
seat.
lose to Vanderbilt at home, he don't make it out of that stadium alive.
No.
I think if DeBoer has 3 or 4 losses or more, he's probably not going to be there next year.
But then the problem is, who do you replace him with? I mean,
Nick Saban.
Bring back.
Bring him back.
Well, they're saying that Chucky wants to come back and coach.
What's that?
They're saying that Chucky wants to come back and coach.
Oh, Gruden?
Yeah, but he wants to the NFL team, doesn't he?
No. They were talking about him going to LSU. Yeah, they were talking about him going to LSU if Brian Kelly tanks.
Well, let's stay in the state of Florida. Let's go down to Miami on the southern coast of the state of Florida. The Catholics versus the Convicts, round 2, and Miami with Carson Beck.
The U is back. The U is back.
I've said it all year.
God, the U is back.
Carson Beck cheated on his girlfriend. The U is back.
Big body. They got an offensive line that's just manhandled the defense of Notre Dame. I mean, just pushed them around.
And this is a Notre Dame team that was in the national
That's right.
championship game last year.
They played Ohio State closer than anybody else.
Yep. This isn't, but Texas did. Notre Dame kind of got blown away in that game.
It was only 8 points.
But, you know,
Someone looked that up.
2 years ago when Colorado played TCU after TCU was in the national title game the year before, Colorado beats them. Everybody's hyped on Prime, Shador, Travis Hunter, all this stuff. And we saw which way they both went. TCU lost too much.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Notre Dame did not lose
Anything.
a lot. And I really had them, as a top 8 team this year. But, man, after watching the way Miami took it to them the other night, I mean.
Miami's got playmakers.
It was a close game. It was 27-24. So it wasn't like it was a Alabama-Florida State score.
Right.
But Miami just looked to be in control of that game. And I thought Carson Beck looked good.
I thought so too. And those wide receivers, I can't say enough about how well they caught the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That one play when he reached out and snagged it. I mean, that ball was past him. He
That was an OBJ catch.
That was awesome.
I thought Michael Irvin came back.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He was there. He was there.
And they were playing with their cockiness again. I mean, it looked like the U.
So, Brian, to your point a little bit ago, you said you still think Clemson is the team to beat out of the ACC. Do you think Miami and Florida State looked good enough the other day to where Clemson's like, maybe we're not going to have the cakewalk we had, but SMU beat them out last year for it.
See, I honestly think it's going to be a closer race in the ACC than what I originally thought.
Yeah.
But I still don't believe in Florida State. I still think that, like I said, it's more of Alabama's demise than I see of Florida State's improvement. I think Alabama is going to be lucky to finish in the middle of the pack in the SEC this year. As far as
Miami's my favorite to win the ACC now that I've seen them play.
As far as Miami, they were at home. Notre Dame, I'm not completely sure about. Like you said, they did return a lot, but it's Notre Dame. You never know with Notre Dame. They go to the national title one year, and then the next year they're a 4-loss team. So you just don't know what you're going to get. But I do think that Miami put themselves on the map to challenge in the ACC.
Yeah.
The nice part about Miami's schedule too is it's kind of like ours. They have South Florida and they have Bethune Cook. But then again, those 2 weeks after they play Florida and then they follow with Florida State. So we'll know after week 5 who really the best team in Florida is. I mean, after those couple games, they didn't back away from any challenge. They have a pretty tough schedule.
Yeah. Well, some big games last week. This week kind of falls off a little bit. There's a couple decent games coming up. And let's start with our neighbors to the east, the Cyhawk. Iowa State, Iowa this week over in I'll say the state of Iowa. Do the Hawkeyes have what it takes to beat the Cyclones this year?
You never know. They're Iowa. They're going to have a strong defense. They're going to have a shitty offense, and they're going to rely on their special teams to make something happen.
You're right. Jeff is exactly right. Iowa State looked okay versus Kansas State, but Kansas State looked terrible last week. So how good is Iowa State? How good is Iowa State?
The crap game.
Yeah, they barely won that game. So
State doesn't have an easy one this week. They got to go up against Army, and Army is never a pushover.
They got a track record.
And they got beat last week, didn't they? Army did.
Yeah.
If I was forced to bet on the Iowa State game, no points, I'd have to go with Iowa.
Iowa?
I'm not sold on Iowa State the way they looked in that first week. In the way that Kansas State looked in the second week, I'm like, I don't know. But I think it's going to be a close game. It always is. But I could see it. If it goes down to a defensive game, Iowa's got the nod.
Yeah.
It depends what Rocco Beck comes out looking like in that game too. I mean, he didn't look sharp over in Ireland, but as we've talked, anytime teams go over to Ireland, They played horrible, man. And it was raining for the most part of the first half that day. And
It was terrible field conditions.
Yeah.
Terrible field conditions.
The problem with going to Ireland is they all go over there and they drink the Ireland beer,
Yeah.
and it's stronger than our beer, so they're hungover. I'm convinced. We've never had a good game come out of that.
The Nebraska coach had too much Island beer for onside kicking.
Yeah, you do. You fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this game. And earlier on in the season, in this year, Brian, you took a team to win the Big 12 in Oklahoma State. Well, Oregon, Oklahoma State this weekend playing, and does Oklahoma State have any kind of shot at going up against the Ducks?
Not in Eugene. Not in Eugene. I think that's a 2-score game, if not more. I think Oregon's too good for Oklahoma State. But the Big 12 is just so wide open. You don't know what you're going to get in the Big 12. I really thought Kansas State was going to put up a fight, but I'm questioning that. Really questioning that. As far as the Big 12, if I was to pick anybody, it sounds like
Did
Texas
you watch
Tech is the
Oregon's game
favorite.
last week?
Yeah, they won easy.
I didn't watch it.
They,
I had
they,
eyes on it. But,
it wasn't even a
things
game.
going on that I didn't get eyes on that one. Oklahoma State's another one. I didn't get eyes on it either. I mean, I read the stat lines for both games, but I think both teams are about to face the first real opponent.
Yeah, but as we know, Eugene's hard to play in. Oklahoma State, like I said, I think they have a shot to potentially win the Big 12 because the Big 12 is just so wide open. But I don't think they have a shot against a top Big 10 team. That's for sure.
About last week.
Yeah.
Well, before we go to our next two matchups for this upcoming week, I missed my notes up here in the corner. Let's talk about Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes and the clock management going down the stretch. Colorado's in that game. They had a shot to take it down. And, I thought their quarterback looked okay. I thought
He's got an arm.
He's got a big arm.
He does.
That dude's got an arm.
But Prime had 2 timeouts in his pocket and was trying to run the ball, which, okay, the clock stops on the first down. I understand that part. But he walked into the locker room with those 2 timeouts yet. And I was questioning that clock management at the end of that game.
It was terrible, terrible clock management. If you are down in a game, you have the ball at the end of the game, there's no reason you should walk out with 2 timeouts.
I mean, he had the 2 timeouts. He had the 2-minute warning.
Well, and the other team gave him a free timeout because they threw an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
Colorado was trying to hold them. And I'm like going, why are you guys throwing the ball in this situation? Run it, try to get your yards. And
as I was saying, now that he's not making game plans to protect his kids, now we're going to see who he is as a coach.
Yeah.
But this was a problem last year and the year before. Clock management was a problem for him.
It was kind of like him being a high school coach. He just got kind of elected to be in the head position because he didn't handle that well at all.
And I think, didn't they only need a field goal to tie and send it to overtime?
No, it was 27-20.
No.
Was
Yeah, it was
They needed a touchdown.
They needed a touchdown,
Did y'all
and
see
then
that Hail Mary?
Yeah.
That quarterback, I mean, he laid it right in there. I mean, too bad it was 3-1.
Yeah.
There's only one Colorado guy down there trying to catch him with 3 guys around him. But he put it right into the mix.
Yep.
Just for how good of an arm he has, they should retire his number.
well, the Colorado receiver was playing
And when
defense on
Dino
that game.
gets done there, they're going to have jerseys all the way around the upper deck.
Yeah. Guys are going to be playing with 2.5 and 3.8 numbers instead of actual numbers. No, I was just watching the end of that game, and I thought, man, what is he doing? He just.
I agree, Zach. 1 more yard on that ball, and his boys got a chance at it.
Yeah.
Well, he was playing defense.
Yeah.
The receiver wasn't even looking for the ball. He was playing defense. Did you see the replay of that?
Yeah. Oh, I was saying, that guy put it all there at 65 yards, And unlike when we did our Hail Mary a few years ago, Northwestern, he didn't fall down.
No,
He didn't put everything he had into it.
no. And
I
he's
still
got
think
plenty of room.
Plenty of room. I mean,
with
that boy's got an arm.
Well,
with as open as the Big 12 is though, and as good as that, I think that quarterback has potential to be pretty good. I
yeah,
wouldn't, I don't think Colorado's out of it. They're just not. They're filling out a whole new team like he does every year. He gets 40 or 50 people out of the transfer portal, so you just never know what you're going to get.
yeah.
So I think they still have a shot, but it's just
I just
because the
think they
Big
have
12 is so
too. I
open.
think they have too tough of a schedule to have a shot. I mean, they got Houston, BYU, Iowa State, Utah, Arizona State. I don't think I don't think they have a shot because of their schedule.
Yeah. You never know what
Could
those
be.
teams are going to come out to be either. I
I
mean,
agree, but I just
I
don't
don't
have any
think
hope in
Arizona
Deion
State's
Sanders.
going to be as good as everybody says without Scadaboo in the backfield.
Arizona State struggled.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
let's.
and
Utah
you
did.
No, Utah looked good against UCLA.
Yeah, they're back.
But let's stay in the Big 12, and we've got a Big 12 SEC matchup that may not interest a lot of people this weekend, but I think it's going to be a telltale for both teams on which direction they're going. One team already has 2 games on the year. Kansas travels down the border war against Missouri this weekend, and Kansas hasn't played anybody. They played Fresno State, and they played a
This is a really big game for Kansas.
It is.
This is not a big game for Missouri.
Yeah.
And Missouri needs to be careful about that because this is a trap game for them.
But if Missouri wants to make any run at getting into those playoffs,
That's right.
that SEC
They got to
is gonna
win.
be
They
tough.
got to
They gotta
win
win
these
this
games.
one.
They got to win these games.
yeah,
That's right. But they should. I mean, on paper, Missouri should beat Kansas. Now, like I said, it's a trap game though, because Missouri expects to win this game when they go down there.
well, it's in Missouri. Yeah, it's in
I
Columbia, but
I honestly think if Kansas wins this game, Kansas is the favorite, definitely out of the Big 12, in my opinion.
I mean,
Um,
they didn't look. They looked pretty good against Fresno that first weekend. Last week they just handled business, 40-something to 7. I think was the final score of that game against Houston Christian or whoever they were playing. So it's a first real test. And KU's coach Leipold is a good coach. He
Absolutely.
really is. He's got a good track record. You got the 38-year-old quarterback Jalen Daniels coming in there, and
38-year-old.
But he's having his best year yet. He threw 4 or 5 touchdowns last week. Fresno
Yeah.
State he threw a couple. I mean, he looks better than ever. And I know it doesn't show on paper, but I think they give Missouri a run for their money. I really think they do.
it's going to come down to KU's defense and what
Yeah.
they can do. But Missouri lost some weapons last year. Their big weapon last year was Luther Burden, the wide receiver, who's now in Chicago playing with the Bears, and regrets his life because Caleb Williams is a quarterback. But when you
he doesn't like painted nails.
yes, but Missouri, they're still a good team. There's an SEC team. They'll probably finish middle of the pack in the SEC this year, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good one to watch.
But they're looking for bigger.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're not happy being middle of the pack.
Yeah.
They're looking for more, and that means this is a game they need to win.
So this is the thing. Missouri wins this game. It doesn't knock KU out of making the playoffs because they still got the Big 12 to go through.
Correct.
Missouri loses this game. They're in a lot of trouble. They got to run that SEC gauntlet.
Now, you got to remember, so last year, 3 losses was the bar.
Right.
So you're right. 1 loss does not count you out in any way, shape, or form. But you start getting that second loss in that's why you got to win this, because you can drop one pretty easy to a LSU or a Mississippi or Ole Miss.
Oklahoma, Texas, any of them.
Well, let's look at the way the season started already. I think 3 losses is probably the bar this year. Because
I mean, Yeah, there was two teams whining last year with 3 losses that they didn't get in, and I just don't want to hear that shit. If you got 3 losses, you should get in.
If there's enough 1 or 2 loss teams up there.
Correct.
Can you imagine the committee's nightmare if like teams just start beating each other up and you've got like 20 teams with 3 losses and that's your top?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be a hard job.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hard job sorting that out.
Yep.
Because you're going to have to make some decisions for money purposes. Where like a Brigham Young is going to get left out in that situation because their people don't drink. I mean things like that. Those will come into play.
Yeah.
We hope they don't. But this makes it a big enough playoff that some of those will get overlooked now. I just talking about how the new top 10 is, and we're talking about the losses and everything. Does a 1-loss team deserve to be in the top 10 right now?
Here's my outlook on that. Okay. So let's take Clemson and Texas and some of them that are 1-loss teams right now. And you put them at 7th, 8th, 9th in that range. And you look at some of your no-loss teams that are down there in the teens behind them. I think you got to look at which team is actually better. If they did play, who would you think was going to win that game?
I think the polls need to change what they're doing. They're trying to guess who's the better team.
Right, early on like that.
Early on like this. This is just stupid to be doing.
Yeah.
I don't think they should put rankings out till the week 4. But if you're going to, undefeated teams need to be on top. You lose one, you drop. And later on, you will get a chance to earn your way back up.
So you drop all the way out of the top 25?
Yeah, definitely out of top 10. I mean, there's teams out there that are legit, that are undefeated right now. Texas, Clemson, they should be in the top 10. Those should be in your 11, 12, 13, 14 spots.
I disagree. Texas is a top 10 team all the way.
Why is that?
Texas played them close. It's not like they got blown out.
How good is Ohio State? You're not sold on them either. So
that's just because of Ryan Day.
You're not sold on. One of them loses, and they're still a top 10 team. That's horse pucky.
Now let me ask you, Jeff, to rebuttal that. So let's say Clemson, they lost to a top 10 team in preseason, top 10 LSU.
Yeah.
Texas was the number 3 team in the nation, Ohio State. And a 1-loss or no-loss team, whoever played an FCS subdivision team that's not very good, beats them by 17 to 20 points. I mean,
I see what you're saying, but on the other hand, we're giving credit to these teams that have got losses on them,
right?
And they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Yeah,
I mean, Texas, #1 rated team in the country, they lost. They should be in the top 10 at this point.
The way I look at it is this: you've got your top 25 poll.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Does it mean anything who they put where in that right now? Because, like you said, down the road,
you'll get the chance to work it all out.
The college football playoff doesn't put out their rankings till after week 6?
Right.
But the top 15 matter. Even now. Because the top 15 are going to be the ones in that playoff talk. And a team that comes out of the Big 12, for example, the Big 12 doesn't hold a lot of weight when it comes to playoff time. You're going to have your conference champion, maybe one other, as long as they got some marquee wins. You're not getting that second team automatically. They're going to have to prove to be there.
What I don't agree with is that Florida State jumped up to 14 after a 2-loss or a 2-win season. Okay, Alabama shouldn't even be in the top 25.
I mean, that puts a whole new look on this whole thing. Because we're switching players. I mean, Florida State, for example, they got a new coaching staff, they got a new quarterback,
No, they don't.
I mean,
Florida State's got the same
they
coaching
got a
staff.
brand new team.
No, Florida State's
Florida
got a whole
State,
new
It has
coaching
nothing to
staff.
do with
They
this
have the
team.
same head coach, but they brought in the Auburn head coach as OC. They took our defensive coordinator. They have a whole new look.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but
It's a whole new
I
team.
don't.
this what happened last year has nothing to do with this Florida State team. Just like what happened last year to Colorado has anything to do with what this year is going to be. And I'm sorry, Zach, you keep talking about being a Colorado fan. That doesn't earn any respect points at this table.
Now, let me throw this out to you. Okay, a team we just talked about, Kansas. If they beat Missouri this week, they're 3-0 on the year. Do they deserve to be ranked ahead of Texas?
Absolutely, and
Now,
and they took out an SEC component.
what do you think would happen if Texas and KU met on the field?
Texas would roll.
Texas be favored by 10,
Right.
11.
Right. I mean, even as a KU fan from long, long ago, I want to see them go 3-0.
But that's why we expanded the playoffs. Is
Right.
because yes, Texas will be favored by 10, 11 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet again, you don't know what's going to happen in that game,
Arizona State, Texas.
especially at this point.
Yeah.
We haven't seen enough either of them to really judge how that game would flow. Now, because of past, who Texas is, how much money they spend on their players and stuff, yeah, they're going to be the favored ones. But until they meet on that field, now, let's say, ask the same question week 10.
Right.
After we've seen a lot.
Yeah.
That spread might be closer.
Or
but
it might be bigger.
It might be bigger. But it also will be an educated opinion. In opposed to, I mean, let's talk about football. I mean, everything he said last week didn't age well for that guy. I mean, Texas was supposed to walk Ohio State right out of their own stadium. No SEC team was supposed to lose. Alabama was supposed to be back in the hunt for the national championship. I mean, this football guy, he should be on our show. That's about all he's worth.
But then again, the
Well,
AP poll, the first 3-4 weeks is an educated guess, though, because the first 3-4 weeks,
Not
nobody.
An educated guess, it's just a guess.
You have
There's
to
not a lot of
you have to guess
education
it's
at this
educated
point.
guess. It's an educated guess because you never should we have been ranked after beating Colorado last year? Heck no, because Colorado sucked. It's an educated guess. You shouldn't bring last year into it, but you have to at the beginning of the year. I mean, why was Boise State ranked 25th this year? Because they did last year, and they got steamrolled by South Florida. I mean, it's all an educated guess until
crazy.
week 4, 5, 6.
And I know the only reason I had eyes on that is because they played before Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Did it go to show that Genty was that good?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah. Boise State looked bad.
Yeah. So, well, guys, one more game this weekend, college football, and it's kind of the big one. It's the SEC, it's the Big Ten meeting up again. This time, the Big Ten travels to the SEC. You got Michigan at Oklahoma.
Yeah, what a game.
Go Blue versus Boomer Sooner. And Brian, we'll start with you. How do you see this one going? And who do you see winning?
I think Michigan wins. I don't think Oklahoma's that good. They haven't proved anything to me. So until they prove something to me, Michigan's at least proved something to me. So I would go with Michigan all day long.
Braden?
I really want to bet with my heart here and say the freaking Boomer Sooner roll them. But that freshman Bryce Underwood does look good. Like Brian said, Oklahoma's proved nothing. I don't think
he's like his stepdad. Change every week. How many teams do you have? You say you want to bet with your heart and go Boomer Sooner.
Because we play Michigan in week 4. That's why I'm saying I want to go Boomer Sooner, so I can see Michigan get the game again.
Undefeated.
Yeah, we want them undefeated when we beat them.
I'd like to see them lose so that I have more hope.
Right.
Okay, you shut your mouth over there, Brian.
Jeff, what do you see happening down in Norman, Oklahoma this weekend? A good football game, but besides that, how do you see it going?
I see Michigan's defense winning the day. I think it'll be close, but I think Michigan handles the fourth quarter and walks away with it. They'll just outlast them and pound them to death.
Well, so we got what, 3 Michigans?
Three
Yeah.
Michigans.
Yep.
I think Oklahoma wins this game. Bryce Underwood, freshman quarterback, coming in. You got Arch Manning going into the shoe up in Ohio State. And I think the pressure got to him. I don't know if Underwood is going to be. He's never been in this situation before. He's played some high school games that were big, maybe. But you're going to have Boomer Sooner Nation down on top of you the whole game there. Can Underwood handle that pressure as a freshman quarterback coming in? And I think he has a key turnover late in that game that allows Oklahoma to win. It's going to be a close one, I feel. Maybe 3 or 4 points. But I think Underwood will make a mistake late in that game that could cost them.
I like the pick.
I hope you're right, because if he can't handle Boomer Sooner, he can't handle Nebraska fans.
Yeah. Because our atmosphere is twice that of Oklahoma.
Yeah, our atmosphere is twice that.
Let me ask you this. If Michigan comes into that game against Nebraska and Michigan has a loss and it's not as big hyped up, because you know Nebraska's probably, barring anything really stupid happening, they're going to be undefeated going into that game. If Michigan is undefeated going into that game, you have a shot at college game day rolling in. And
See, that would be great.
And do you
That'd be
imagine
cool.
what is going to happen then? You're going to have Colorado last year, probably ×2, electrifying in Memorial Stadium that night.
100%.
Now, if Michigan comes in with a loss, and Nebraska comes in, and let's just say they play some close games against these teams that they shouldn't, is it going to be as electric as what you think it's going to be now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Husker fan base will be up for that game. They will be up for that game. They are every year. We were up for that game 2 years ago or 3 years ago with Scott Frost and we knew we weren't going to win. And we still went out there in force, and that place was rocking.
Right. It's going to be rocking no matter what, because that's what Memorial Stadium does.
That's right.
What I'm saying is, if you have a college game day and you have 2 undefeated teams and it's prime time and everything else, that's going to elevate that even more, correct?
I don't know how much more you can elevate what we do. But you're
Okay.
right.
Let's be fair.
Like the Colorado game last year, you could feel the electricity in the streets. You weren't even. It was 2 hours before game time, and the hair on your arms was standing up because you just knew that this was going to be a fight.
Do they have the time set for that game?
2:30.
It is a 2:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's just say, can you imagine game days there? People are there 4 in the morning, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Camping out overnight. They're primed up. It's a 2:30 game. And
I'm going down around 10. I will be there for that one. That's a must see.
And all of a sudden, you've got everybody in that stadium. It's buzzing. Michigan's on that field. Can you imagine what it's going to sound like when that tunnel walk kicks?
Yeah. There is nothing like the sound of Memorial Stadium when a big game is about to happen. And when the fans know that we have a chance, it is. It's electrifying. You can't hear. You can't hear the person next to you.
I know. I was there with 92,000 people one night.
Yeah, with volleyball group. I mean, we travel.
Let's be fair.
And we definitely defend our home base. And we're Michigan's gonna be fun. But if they have one loss or if they beat Oklahoma, I think that it's still gonna be.
And I'm not taking that away. I'm saying
I don't think anything put away from that.
I'm
The only
just
thing
saying,
that would make it better would be a night game.
yeah, I'm just saying 2 undefeated teams versus a 1-loss team, and maybe a team that's, if because Nebraska plays Maryland before that, right? No, they play Michigan and then Maryland.
All I'm saying is Nebraska can be undefeated and still not be ranked in that game.
I don't think they're.
So-
I don't think we're ranked.
So I don't see a college game day going there.
I don't know if
but
Nebraska. Oh,
No, there's a lot of week games. Week 4 is a slow week.
yeah. if you got two undefeated Big Ten teams kicking it off, and it's those two, especially with all the hype around Michigan's coach not being there, Underwood is a freshman coming in. If he's got a
There's
bunch
so
of
many
people,
storylines
yeah,
coming into this. I mean, the little cheaters from Michigan, they're finally getting some of their punishment coming down. Oh, Harbaugh's moved on his way. They're talking about punishing him in the NFL, and they should. It won't happen, but they should. But we own it, little cheaters. That's just
all right, well,
It's
guys,
time.
let's kick off. We're done with that. Tomorrow night, what
get
do we
on the
have?
NFL.
The NFL kicks off.
The big boys.
Who do we start off with? We start off with the defending Super Bowl champion, Brian Denton's favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles, taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And, usually that first game of the year, they try to have a big game. And I don't know what they were thinking when they did this one.
True.
Dallas Cowboys. They're like the kid that never goes away, but yet now they're selling off their team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this ain't even gonna be close.
I was listening.
No, I think it's a continuation of last year. Last year, Philly won both games, outscored them 73-13 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't see this game being even closer than that. I think Philly's by far going to win this game.
I like to argue with you, but I can't.
Yeah.
It's an 8.5-point spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big spread for a professional game.
Yeah.
And it's well deserved.
Yeah, Philly's going to put in a clinic. I have a feeling.
And then we move to the next night on YouTube. The defending Super Bowl runner-ups kick off their season as they travel out. And Brady's favorite team, the Chiefs, will travel to Los Angeles to take on the aforementioned Jim Harbaugh and his LA Chargers.
The game's in Brazil. The game is in Brazil.
Well, yeah, that's right. It is in Sao Paulo, Brazil that night. But heard some information today on the way down. Najee Harris will probably be playing in that game.
He's active now.
Yeah, they're saying he's going to be ready to go. I don't think any of the Chiefs, well, except for Rashid
Rice.
But I don't know, guys. It will be interesting to see. The last time Mahomes played out of this country, him and Jared Goff lit it up on a Monday night. Chiefs Rams back in the day, it was 50-something to 40-something, and I think both quarterbacks were over 500 yards that night.
That was a wild
last
game.
Time, Mahomes stepped on a football field, he got beat up.
Yeah,
and that's got to be pretty nasty taste in his mouth. He probably sleeps and dreams about it. They're gonna walk all over the Chargers.
I don't agree. I think it's a 3-point.
Of course, Brian does it.
No, I think it's a 3.5-point spread. I actually think Chargers keep it within 3. I think the Chargers are
on the Chiefs all day long. 3.5's not enough. They're gonna need probably 10.
I think the Chargers are going to be. I think the Chargers are going to be a sneaky team this year. I really do.
I think the Chargers' offense is a little better, but they lost Bosa. They lost some key players on that defense. I think that they're going to have trouble stopping people this year. I don't. They're going to have to try to outscore their opponents this year down in Charger land with Jimmy Hart.
Harbaugh can't cheat in the pros.
Belichick did.
Belichick cheated like how many times?
Yeah, Belichick's a better coach than fucking Harbaugh.
Well, then we go to Sunday, guys, and not a lot going on during the day. Not a lot of big games happening that day. I guess one of the biggest is Micah Parsons and his new team, the Green Bay Packers, will host the Detroit Lions. And,
that's a big game.
Yeah. But
you're right.
All the rest of them,
probably, that's the marquee game.
You got Detroit at Green Bay, and they're saying that Mike is going to take some shots to be able to play in that game just to loosen up the L4 and L5 when his back. And man, I don't know.
Isn't that crazy? He switched teams and he's injured right away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are the odds?
Mm-hmm.
Packers
he was injured before. He was
What?
injured before. There's no way that they didn't know he was injured.
Gave him a lot for an injured player. But
Well, it's I know that Green Bay's favored in this game, but I think Detroit's a better team. I really do. I
I
think
do
Detroit
too.
probably pulls it out.
Michael Parsons is a generational player. I take nothing away from him. He is a beast on defense, but him not being 100% healthy is going to hurt them. And I think Micah wants to take the first 3 weeks kind of easy, knowing that hey, we still make the playoffs. Those 3 games aren't big, or not as big. Because week 4 they go play the Cowboys, and I think he wants to make a statement that
don't you think the Packers though, offensively, Jordan Love and company, this is their breakout year.
it
I
should
mean,
be. It
what
should be.
they came down the stretch last year. No one wanted to play them.
Yeah.
No one wanted to play them.
Well, and
They good coming down the
they
stretch.
have one of the better defenses in football, and then they added to it with
Absolutely.
Micah Parsons.
Absolutely.
So
Um,
I'm not saying Green Bay's not going to be good. I still think they're a playoff team. I just think Detroit's better all the way around than Green Bay.
yeah, I'm still, I love Detroit what they did last year. I love their coach. They fell to Washington. Um, I see Packers winning this, setting the tone for their season.
Good.
Detroit losing this game is not going to hurt them because their division sucks. Where the Packers, on the other hand, they're in a fight. They already know they're in a fight, but I think they're the front runner to win that division.
You think they'll win it over Detroit
Yes.
and Minnesota?
See, Minnesota sucks. I mean, they lost. They just. Why would you give up Sam Darnold? Why would they do that?
Because he wasn't even playing to be the starting quarterback last year.
Yeah, but he
No,
was, and he did well.
He did, but they're looking to the future. They want to bring McCarthy along now, and
Yeah, McCarthy. Wow. I don't know. I'm going with Packers.
all right. Well, Sunday night it kicks up again because you've got a huge game in the AFC, which could have implications down the road for seeding in the playoffs as the Baltimore Ravens travel to Orchard Park to take on the Buffalo Bills. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, MVPs galore between the two of them, but one thing neither one has, a Super Bowl. Neither one's ever been to a Super Bowl. How do you guys see this one going?
Shootout. Absolute shootout. Both teams aren't that great on defense. They're solid, but
Ravens have a
that's their
solid
down
defense.
that's their downfall though to those two teams is their defense. Now, last year we could have said that Buffalo was because of the receiving core. They strengthened that a little bit, and I think just with how this game plays, it's gonna be a high scoring game.
They did add Joey Bosa.
They did. They did.
I don't think it matters.
I
I think Joey Bosa was done, and that's why the Chargers let him go. I honestly I think the Ravens win this game pretty easy. I think Buffalo is going to take a step down. They lost Amari Cooper.
Said
Cooper
that
went
last
back
year.
to. They had him last year.
Marta played last
No,
year.
he said that they were going to take a step down last year. I mean, he's like the anti Bills Mafia. Bills
They don't
Mafia.
have a receiver.
You better
They don't
hide.
have a receiver.
Khalil Shakir.
Keon Coleman.
I'm not. Yeah, nah. It's going to be a James Cook show again. Is what you're going to see.
How do you see this game going, Jeff?
The game will be going really well for Baltimore until somewhere between the third and fourth quarter. And then they're going to put it on Lamar Jackson's shoulders instead of Derrick Henry's, just like they did all last year on their big games. And then Lamar Jackson will mess it up.
See, and I had the same thing as you, but I have Harbaugh getting smart. The Harbaugh you like
Yeah.
getting smart this year and feeding Derrick Henry in that fourth quarter where he thrives.
And if he learns to do that, and they keep they put the pressure on Henry instead of Lamar,
Yeah.
they got a chance.
Yeah.
They got a chance to win the Super Bowl.
I think Harbaugh learned because you look back to Pete Carroll in the Super Bowl wanting Russell Wilson to be the hero, the everything, blah, 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 let's throw a pass down here. When you have beast mode in the backfield and you're 3 yards away from the end zone, I mean, Harbaugh has got to learn something from that. And you feed the beast. You feed Derrick Henry in that fourth quarter because that is when that man thrives. And I'm sorry, you play 3.5 quarters in the NFL and you're a linebacker, and all of a sudden you have Derrick Henry running right at you. Are you really at that point in time going, oh God, I got to go hit him as hard as I can? No, you're like, oh God, I hope he doesn't make me look stupid. I hope I don't get Bosworth.
I still think Josh Allen wins MVP of the game, and Bills get a win.
I'm going Ravens in that one.
The Bills definitely have the better quarterback. I'm going to take Josh Allen all day over Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But the Baltimore Ravens just have too good of a team all the way around, in my
The
opinion.
problem is, though, Lamar Jackson is a killer. He kills his own team. I mean, he puts them in bad positions.
Well, they should have won the first game last year. They should have won the first game last year. It's just likely didn't get his foot down. That was a hell of a throw by Lamar Jackson in that first game last year. But likely just
that
didn't
was a
get it
great game
down.
to watch. That was fun.
It was a great game, but that was probably one of the best.
That was one of the mini Kansas City found a way to win. You know,
Well,
refs
that
help
was
out a little bit here. They get a good call here, good call there. But that was a great game to start, and this will rival that game.
I think it'll be a close game. I'm not going to disagree with that. But yeah, I think Baltimore wins it all the way there.
Monday night, we close out week 1 of the NFL, and you know, it used to be Monday night was the night you look forward to because there was a great game on in the week. Monday Night Football.
You hadn't earned the right to be on Monday nights.
Yeah, and I mean, you had Howard Cosell, you had some of the biggest names ever. And now, what do we get this week? First week of the year, the Vikings and the Bears. And I know it's a rivalry matchup in the NFC North, but you've got J.J. McCarthy making his first start ever. You got Caleb Williams coming off that. It seems like Monday Night Football has just gone by the wayside, man. It's like they're getting the worst games of the year.
I'm just saying, Monday night is going to be a night I probably give my wife. You know, because she don't watch as much football as I do, and she tries to allow me to watch as much as I want. And I might give her Monday night just to keep things cool to start the season off. But I'm not going to be too upset to miss that game.
I mean, Detroit Green Bay would have been a great Monday night game.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one that I would not get. All of a sudden, I'd be there watching that game.
Even
I do agree with Derek. Monday night used to be the night that the great game was on. Sunday night and Monday night. I've personally been to both Sunday night and Monday night football games live. And this is a rematch of the one Monday night game I went to 2 years ago. Yeah, it's like really you're going to put these two teams on Monday Night Football? It's like I honestly think the Bears are going to be better than they were last year. And I think the Vikings are going to take a little turn down. I think the Bears win it.
You know, we had a lot of action of people chiming in tonight. So I'm just going to go back, kind of call a couple people out. You know, early in, Cody, Penn State all the way. That's a very good, solid bid. I agree with you. I think Penn State wins the Big Ten this year. We got Zach. Well, I mean, this guy is all over our feed. I love him. He's a Colorado man, though. Makes it hard. But he says he's an Oscar fan too. Just want to do a shout out at you. Appreciate everything you're doing. Keep bringing in the comments. I love reading these things. My son-in-law Justin Sass, he's a big Kansas City fan. He watches us every week nonstop. I want to do a shout out to him. He also thinks Josh Allen is going to win the day for the Baltimore. We have a few or Buffalo, and we have a few other people that's just kind of watching and chiming in. And I like it. Denise Blaker was watching this earlier tonight. Wade was in there watching it.
Woo!
I mean, we love this. Please keep watching us. Keep getting interactive on it. We'll get better at addressing this stuff as we go. But I want to take a minute out to have some shout outs at you guys.
We are on our march to 1,000. We are on our march to 1,000 followers on this Facebook Live, because that means Jeff gets to wear either Philadelphia or Oregon gear. So,
God, they both just horrible. I don't even know which one. Just
so we're close. We're almost 600 right now, I believe.
So- What I've noticed, what we've noticed on this little jump that we're doing, what we're going to ask you guys to do, if you're watching this and you enjoy what we're doing, go to your friends list on your Facebook page and share us, invite us. There's an invite button right on the top of our Facebook page. You hit it and just select all. Have all your friends just kind of, maybe they'll take a look at us and like us too, or maybe they won't, but if you just spread the word, put some eyes on us.
Yeah, we would appreciate that very much, because we all want to see Jeff in green.
We really don't.
We want to see you in green, or green fedora up there too, man. But another great week of college football coming up. You know, right now the college football season, it's kind of at that point to where there's not the big games coming out because they're not into conference play yet, and you know, you don't see all like we did last week coming up this week. But there's still some very
Week one was a huge week for a week one.
there's still some intriguing matchups
There are.
this week, you know.
And this is when everybody's starting to get their feet wet as fans too. I mean, me and a bunch of guys from work going to the Akron game. My wife's having a tailgate party with her girlfriends at the Akron game. But you know, no, it's not a big game. But it's Lincoln, Nebraska. It's the first home game of the year. It's a night game. They're gonna do the burnout. They're gonna have the drone show. There's a lot of things going on. I can't wait to be in Lincoln.
Yeah, it's gonna
Nebraska needs to win these next two by multiple scores to get me looking at them. Just saying, they can't play down to the level of their opponents anymore.
And all they
No
need to
one
do
cares
is
what you think, Brian. No one cares.
so.
You left us. You moved to Colorado. You were a Denver fan beforehand. You were kind of a Colorado fan. You're an Oregon fan. You're a West
Colorado
guy. So you left the state. You're okay. We don't need your eyes on us.
Let me ask you this, Brian.
Yeah.
You to believe in Nebraska, they got to win these next couple by major scores. How are you going to feel if Oregon beats Oklahoma State by 3?
I'm gonna be a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. You know, but I just don't see it. I think that defense is too good. That's one thing that Danny Lanning's really good at is defense, and he's shown that the last couple of years. I honestly think Danny Lanning's one of the better coaches in college football. But we do have a new quarterback. We do have some new talent on the offensive side. So it'll be interesting to see what they do against a more challenging opponent. But in my opinion, if all this talk of Nebraska being a playoff team and everything, they got to show it. They got to show it now. Otherwise, it's not going to be good for them.
Well, we'll find out how things shake out next Wednesday at 7 p.m. We will be right back here with another edition of Tailgate Talk. We'll cover a few of these college games, and we'll cover how things went in the pros and if some teams jumped up and surprised us or whatever. You know, I mean, who knows? The Giants might beat the Commanders this week.
The Giants are beating the Commanders, but that's not what we're talking about. This is week one of the NFL, baby. Be excited, get in front of the TV, root your favorite team on, and let's get it on. Everyone's 0-0 right now. Everyone's 0-0.
Normally, I would say good luck to one of our former companions on this show, Presley. But Presley in fantasy, I'm gonna trounce you. I'm sorry, man. I love you, Presley. I know you're a Longhorn fan. They went down. I know you're a Cowboy fan. They're going to go down. So that just kind of correlates, things in three there. But hey, I'm still going to give you a couple shout outs here and there, Presley, because we still love you, man.
I got Wado first week.
Yeah.
And from what I'm seeing, I'm looking for a win too.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen.
I mean, everybody's going to get a win in this league at one point in time this year when they play Brady. But
Yeah. Okay.
Braden took Kyler Murray with his first pick in round one, guys. I'm just
That
going
was
to
given.
that.
I didn't pick him.
No, Braden, we got a shot sign off here, buddy. I'm just telling
Yeah.
everybody
Okay.
how smart
I
you
still
were
hate Jeff
to
Green
take
for that.
Kyler Murray in the first round. We'll leave it at that, and we'll
Whatever.
talk about it next week.
Whatever.
We hope you have enjoyed this last hour or so with us here at Tailgate Talk. Please, like Jeff said, go talk to your friends and invite them. Invite them to come watch us at least once. See what they think about it. We're on the road to 1,000. We're trying to get there. We couldn't do this without all of you out there watching us. We love your interaction with us. If we were doing this for 5 people watching us, it wouldn't be as worth it. But when we know that you're out there watching us on YouTube or on Facebook land, we love it. We love bringing you as much content as we can. We may not know everything. We may not be right all the time, but we're going to act like it. So all of us,
Jeff sure
Brian, Braden, Jeff, and myself, you've been watching Tailgate Talk, and
We
know
We know
sports.
sports.